Welcome to Awakening, the podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Christian Strang, and welcome to your August 2024 Oracle reading. Now, we've been in the midst of an interview series. We do an interview series every single year here on Awakening the Podcast. And you may have noticed you didn't get another interview in July, and our sincere apologies for that. We have been deep in it with Mary Magdalene Feast Day and honoring Mary Magdalene. In the month of July, she released her first transmission to us in almost 2 years, and it was revelatory, and we've been processing that. It's been a very deep process. Mary Magdalene has revealed who she is now and how we are to work with her and how we're here to work with our spiritual teams and how we work with our higher self and like the whole thing. So we've been integrating that and integrating those changes. So you may notice those changes and tweaks coming in the days and weeks to come. For those of you that said yes to our Mary Magdalene Feast Day celebration and you received this revelation transmission that was 16 pages long from her, I know you're also integrating these shifts and changes. At the time of this recording, we're in the High Holy Days in early August, and one of my dear sisters and mentors made her transition 3 years ago during this time, so I've been also honoring her. So we've been deep in honoring the divine feminine, the goddess, really honoring and celebrating those who have walked before me. And it is so important to me in my incarnation to really do that, to make sure I'm paying due respect, due honor to the goddesses that have walked this earth before me. I know there are many of you listening to this who also feel that way. And if you do, I highly encourage you to make it part of your practice in your incarnation of really honoring the goddesses that have walked before you, whether it's Mary Magdalene, personal mentors of yours, or other goddesses and deities that you have worked with. So let's get into your August Oracle reading here. And we will be resuming the interview series in August, and it'll stretch into the fall months. So stay tuned. We've got some incredible interviews with healers and those who are really walking their talk. It's so important because there's so many individuals out on earth saying a lot of different things. Most of them are not fully embodied. Most of them are not walking their talk. So it's incredibly important to me that I feature and share with you those who are walking their talk and who are truly living a spirit-led life, so that you can be exposed to that energy and you can recognize the difference between that and, say, something you see on Instagram with someone who has hundreds of thousands of followers and just had a spiritual awakening, 3 to 5 years ago, or whatever the story is. We want you to be able to see the differential between someone who's embodied and really walking their talk and being spirit-led, and then that helps you be more discerning on this path. Okay, so your Oracle reading this month comes from our Oracle Ecstatic Union with the Divine. And we're going to the Oracle titled Allowing Your True Beliefs to Be Known to You. This is a really powerful practice to bring into this month in August. There is a lot of speculation. There's a lot of stories with the 8-8 and, the elections in the United States coming up and all the various things that are happening, the multiple wars that are happening. And usually there are multiple wars. That's very common for the hijacked agenda to have that going. But there's a lot of stories about what that means and narratives going about the direction that we're in, where we're actually at on Earth, meaning at this time in our consciousness, are we going the dystopian pathway? Are we going the golden age pathway? So there's lots and lots of stories right now, and it's easy to get confused. It's easy to get overwhelmed, and our discernment is needed so desperately at these times so that you can really work with the narratives and the stories that are taking place from a higher vibrational level. So we're going to go ahead and share this transmission of light with you so that you can work with what's happening in your life in a much more easeful way. So this work that I share, that I live, that I for lack of a better term, teach, is all meant to make your life more peaceful, more abundant, more love-filled, more radiance, more health, more well-being. That's what we're creating here. And you've heard me say this before, and you'll probably hear me say it many times after this. The loophole in the artificial matrix is living spirit-led. It is living life in the way that I've been teaching since 2008, the way I've been living since 2008. That is the loophole in the matrix. It doesn't mean you don't experience life. It just means you experience it with a lot more peace and groundedness and a lot more ease and a lot more joy and a lot more love and a lot more prosperity and a lot more radiance. You're able to fulfill your mission. When you live spirit-led, when you walk this path with us, you are able to live your mission, fulfill your mission here on earth without sabotage, without getting sidetracked. Now, you will have moments. You might sabotage yourself. I'm thinking about some clients right now that I'm working with. You will have moments where you might sabotage yourself. However, you're able to navigate it. You can recognize it. You can shift. You can pivot much more easily than when you are living your life led by the artificial matrix, led by your programming from childhood, from religion, from government, from the culture at large. So take a nice deep breath here. And if you can, close your eyes. If you're somewhere where you can close your eyes and just allow yourself to receive this transmission of light from all of the highest light, led by the one formerly known as Mary Magdalene and Yeshua. And Source, of course, is here with us. And just allow yourself to receive the healing that is here for you. We want to tell you, as clearly as we have ever told you anything on this divine day, your experience of your life unfolding runs in parallel to your worldview, meaning that what you believe rules the experiences that you experience in most every way. We know that you have perhaps heard about this concept or you've been introduced to it in some way, but it is our hope and intention that today's transmission allows you to embody and understand this at a level with which you have not previously had access to. We want you to understand that positive affirmations and mindset, aspects that you may hear about in your self-development sectors, are not merely interesting ideas or a load of hogwash as others may deem them to be, but rather that they are the mere surface of the true nature of your reality and what is possible for you. And now we are about to take this even deeper for you so that you can more fully understand what we are meaning with all of this. We want very much so for you to align with a new frequency, a new expanded level on an area you have yet to fully embody. And that is, if you are ever in curiosity about what you believe, you must simply look at the external manifestations in your life unfolding. And from there, as you raise your awareness, you are then given access to this understanding. With focus, intention, and alignment, you can shift your beliefs on any topic to a placement of greater alignment with who you really are. When you do this, then your external manifestations will look much differently to you. Now, someone with a whole other set of belief systems could look at your external manifestations and see them in one way and another in another way. And in fact, this is occurring all day, everywhere you go. And this is why we encourage gathering with those who are like-hearted, like-souled, so that when more of you come together, you have a like understanding. And when you do this, you know that your beliefs rule your worldview. And when you have similar beliefs and you come together and you are talking about aspects of your life unfolding that light you up, you are then elevating the frequency all around you. And the ripple of that frequency provides greater access to those that are not currently in that vibration to then gain access to that vibration. We've talked to you about this before. It is why everything you do matters. Every frequency you emit has a power to it that makes whatever that frequency is more accessible by the collective. And so when you are in a space of not like-hearted, like-souled individuals, you may not feel so good, or you may pick up on thought forms that you realize are not even yours, or are of no interest to you. And so we'll come back to our original intent here. We want you understanding that your beliefs shape your perception of everything that is happening around you and everything that is happening to everyone else around you. When you choose to see anything as detrimental to yourself or another, that will be the majority of your experience with that aspect. If you choose to see what is happening through the perspective as an opportunity for enlightenment, now you've never heard us use that term before, have you? You can literally see every occurrence in your world and in the world all around you as an opportunity for enlightenment. Which means we must now clarify what we mean by enlightenment, as it carries its own energetic matrix of various beliefs created by various ones. When we use the term enlightenment, we are literally speaking of the process of becoming filled with more source light. Why would this be something anyone would desire, you might ask? Well, first, source light is what you're truly made up of, what all are at their core. When you see all aspects and experiences as an opportunity to embody more of the light that you truly are, you become more and more filled with your core essence, which is Source. This light that we speak of is the light of Source. It is pure love, pure joy, pure bliss, pure abundance, pure magic, pure spirit. It is the expansive feelings of all of these aspects that many of you feel or have felt throughout your life unfolding. And so if you could allow yourself to know, to believe, to fully understand that every experience that is occurring for the opportunity for you to become more filled with light, that it is calling to that light part of you and calling forth for you to walk with whatever it is in the light, then you have an extraordinary life experience. Then you are in ecstatic union with the divine each and every day. And then you begin to understand and see yourself and see every being as an aspect of the divine, as a part of the divine, because all truly are, and all things are opportunity for further alignment with this truth. And so if you are ever experiencing something, anything really, you can nod and you can smile and you can see that it is showing you something that you believe. And it quite possibly may be something that you didn't even know you believed until this very experience came before you. And you can welcome that as an invitation to step into greater clarity about your truth and the true nature of your life unfolding. Or you can judge it, regret it, dislike it, and or ask it to be different. You get to choose. You see, our dear one, and you truly are. You are the dearest of them all. We know in some of what you call your fairy tales, there are stories about the fairest of them all, and we are so loving bringing in this sense of play, enveloped in total truth. And you are the dearest. We promise you that. You are the dearest. You are the brightest. You are already in touch with the light that is the true you. And we want you recognizing more fully that in each unfolding before you, you are being shown what you believe, and you are being invited into greater alignment with the true light, or the enlightenment that you are. So you may find yourself in fear. You may find yourself questioning what is happening in your own life and in the lives of others. And when you can see that even these aspects coming in are showing you that you have beliefs about harm or fear or things going wrong, this is all such important, vital information for you. Because when you see that, when you connect into the understanding, then you begin to be empowered into the deeper question that wishes to be asked, which is, how can I see and take action forward here in the direction of the light? How can I allow what is in front of me to activate the deeper call within me to become more of the light? Now you may be wondering how you can shift your beliefs to be in greater alignment with this light that is the core of you, this source light that is the core principle behind and around the concept of enlightenment, which we must also share with you is the true path that all are on. It may take many, 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 many lifetimes to fully embody the light of Source while in a body for some. However, if you're experiencing this transmission right now, it may not take many more at all. It may only take a few more, or 2 more, or 1 more, or none more. I'm adding that in. It is different for all of you, and it is dependent on your cooperation and daily action to align with the light of who you truly are, or not. To shift your beliefs, you have to, of course, shift the thought forms you align with. Meaning that if thought forms enter your space that feel off to you, that do not feel good to you, you can question them. You can call them out. You can say, hey, I see you, and you don't feel very good to me. You feel off to me, and so I wish not to engage you. I will now surround you in a bubble of golden radiant Source light, and I will surrender you up to Source and ask that you be transmuted to divine love. And then you can tap out your cortices and take several deep breaths. And then you can check back in with yourself. You can question your thought forms. You can recognize that they are pre-programmed from this lifetime or carried over from other lifetimes or absorbed by those you have been commingling with. And they're just thought forms. Nothing to be too worried about, nothing to be afraid of, just thought forms that were created by other thought forms. And they simply can be recognized, and then your choice can be made. Do I wish to activate this thought form, or do I wish to release this thought form? And there you have it. Now you are clear. It is all complete. There's nothing you have to agonize over or worry yourself about. And when you do this, you can then choose thought forms that are of more and greater service to you. Take a nice deep breath here. That is one of the powerful components of these transmissions that we share with you. When you allow yourself to soak them up day after day after day after day, you are consistently and gently releasing your conditioned thought forms so that the thought forms that do serve you can be known by you, which then allows belief systems that are the true you beliefs to rise to the surface. Yes, you heard us correctly. You needn't go in search of whole new belief systems. It is through the consistent, gentle experiencing of transmissions such as these and following the practices that we give to you here. And the old will dissolve over time, and the true you then rises to the surface. There is not anything you have to force to believe. You must only show up day after day after day for you, to question what does not feel good and does not uplift you to the true divinity that you are in, and release to Source for transmutation. And as you do all of this, then you allow the true you to reveal your path to you again and again and again. Nice deep inhale through the nose. Exhale out of your mouth. That is your August oracle reading coming from our book, Ecstatic Union with the Divine. Live rich, live in love, live in peace. This book can be found worldwide via Amazon. So breathing that in, August is a month for enlightenment. And that greater enlightenment comes from you questioning your thought forms and really getting clear, on which thought forms you want to feed your attention to. As I said in the beginning, there are so many thought forms that we can get captured by, we can get distracted by. So you really want to be using the power of your focus to align and connect with the thought forms that really feel spectacular in your body-mind. Now, this doesn't mean that other thought forms aren't true. I'm going to give you an example. So let's say you're in your life, it's the month of August, you've heard this transmission, you've listened to our podcast, you're like, okay, I am really going to focus on spending time with people that I have a like soul connection with, like heart, like soul. And I'm really going to focus on the thought forms that feel good to me, that really light me up, and that really allow me to live my mission fully here. So let's say you're doing that. And then you cross paths with someone, and probably a family member, someone who's known you a long time, but it could be anyone. And let's say they're like, oh, I don't know what you're so happy about. There are terrible things happening on earth. Do you know what's happening in the Middle East? Do you know about the underground tunnels? Do you know about the reptilians? Do you know what they're doing to our world? So what do you do in that moment? Because all of those things are true. All of those things are happening. But are those thought forms going to allow you to become enlightened and fulfill and live your mission fully on earth? No, they are not. Is feeding those thought forms of benefit to you? Short answer, no, they are not. Does that mean you should ignore that those things are happening? Well, let's go deeper here. You have an advanced technology body, and it is giving you feedback. It is giving you communication. So when someone talks about a war and you feel pretty neutral in your body about it, you're like, I know that I should be horrified by this, but I don't feel anything in my body. But then somebody talks about the reptilians who hijacked the earth and you feel a lot of things in your body. Now you know what is important to your mission. So in this example, they bring you something you feel neutral about. There's nothing for you to do there. They want you to be activated about it. It's fine. They're activated about it because some part of them is meant to be part of the solution to that thing. You feel neutral about it because that's not part of your mission. But you do feel really activated about whatever, in my example, the reptilian thing and not the war. But it could be in reverse and it could be any other thing. So instead of trying to get other people to be upset about the things you're upset about, you want to go into, why am I so activated about this? And then you want to SG, you want to take our superpowers guide and you want to put the reptilians hijack the earth plane and take that through the SG or the war in the Middle East. And I have very strong thought forms and beliefs about both of those things, but we're not going into that because right now, that's not what this is about. So you're going to actually clear the charge using the superpowers guide. And then you're going to inquire in your next meditation or prayer time with your higher self and with Source and with God, Goddess of the Golden Age. And you're going to ask, what is my part? What is my role in this? What can I do to support the ascension, the transcendence of whatever this thing is? Now you're back into enlightenment. Because when you feel in your body how good it feels to think about being part of the solution to the reptilian race that hijacked the earth or to the wars in whatever area, now that feels right. You're feeling that light in your body. I feel strongly about this because I'm meant to be part of the solution. And I don't feel strongly about this other thing because that's not part of my mission in this incarnation. And so now what thought forms are you going to feed around that? Is it going to be helpful, using our example here, to like, oh, the reptiles, they're so blah, 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 blah. They have no power. They're totally afraid of you. There's more of us than them, meaning there's more light beings than them. That's the truth. Does it serve you and does it feel good to harness those thought forms with the example of the war? Like, this is terrible. All these people are being murdered. There's nothing we can do. The governments are profiting from it. True, true, true. The governments are actually instigating it and killing the people. True, true, true. But is that helpful? Is that lighting you up? Is that bringing you more enlightenment? No. What is bringing you more enlightenment is recognizing you feel activated and strong about these certain areas because they are part of your mission. And now your work is to ask, how can I be part of the solution? And then to follow all of the solutions that light you up. For instance, becoming a love territory guide may be one of the solutions so that you can do specific rituals, prayers, and blessings from Mother, Father, God of the Golden Age. You can take source-inspired transmissions and apply it to those lands, those waters, those living beings, and you can be actively part of the solution. So you will be guided to all manner of things that you need to do to be part of the solution. And that is how we take the thought forms and we work with this in a more masterful way. right? If you're in 4D New Age spirituality, it's like, well, just think only the thoughts that you want to think and just pretend like the other things aren't happening, and that's, people get really, charged about this because it's their work to do, but that's spiritual bypassing, right? We're not saying ignore the things that are happening. We're saying be more masterful, be a grown up, be your higher self. We'll say that better. Be your higher self and show up for this with more mastery. Okay, this area really activates me, but it's not helping me to go into the victim storyline, which is the mainstream storyline. All this victimhood, all this hopelessness. That is what the reptilian agenda, the hijacked agenda, the negative agenda, whatever you want to call it, that's what they need you to feel, so that you are disconnected from your true source power. And when you're disconnected from your true source power, you're completely ineffective. How do you know if you're disconnected from your true source power? You're totally ineffective in your life. If you're having trouble creating anything, being successful in anything you're doing, you're disconnected from your source power. Now, this is not bad news, because you can get reconnected to your source power, and these transmissions, like what we just shared with you in Ecstatic Union with the Divine, is one of the many ways that you can reconnect to your source power. Just read a transmission from one of our oracles every single day and read it out loud. And just ask, what do I need to know today? And read it out loud. And as much of what you're able to retain from that transmission, do something with that. If there's guidance to take an action, take the action. This is how you live spirit-led. This is how you transcend the agenda that seeks to control, distort, and destroy you. And by destroy, I mean keep you locked in samsara, in pathetic lifetimes, just completely disconnected from your light. I've literally watched, we've been in a culling period. This should not be news to you if you're listening, if you listen to my podcast for any stretch of time. We've been in a culling period since 2020. I was just talking to one of my dear angelic sisters about this, and, just keep seeing people you thought were of the light. Nope, you just watch the light diminish, and they split off, and they're on some other timeline, some other journey, not connected to the source light. And then you see those that you maybe never would have thought stepping up and rising up and really living with that light inside of them. I have a couple of dear soul family members who I've watched their light just diminish since 2020. So we're in this culling period. In 2016, I saw the split in consciousness that was going to happen. I didn't fully understand how it would play out, but when 2020 hit, I said, oh, there we go. That's it. So I was shown the third dimension going down, 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 down until it no longer exists on the earth plane. And I saw the fifth dimension. Now we could call this anything. We could call this Piscean age, golden Aquarian age. We could call this dark age, golden age. We could call this 3D, 5D, right? So just work with whatever terminology your body most responds to with light. So you're going to follow everything that your body responds to with light. So I saw this. The fifth dimension is going to keep ascending until that is what envelops the earth plane. And the third dimension is going to just, I wanted to say softly go into the night, but it's pretty loud sometimes. Not loud though if you're following the guidance from this transmission. So we want to welcome you into a new level of mastery, of enlightenment in the month of August, so that you can work with this content that we've given you today in a way that truly supports you in living a more extraordinary life experience, no matter what is happening. Remember that in times of absolute destitution in the collective, there have always been a gathering of souls who transcend it, who it does not touch. And if it does touch them, they're able to just zigzag, navigate through it. So know that invitation is there for you. You can go into the depths, you can go into the darkness, you can choose to diminish your light. But if you're listening to this podcast, you're most likely choosing the light in this incarnation. Or if you've just stumbled into this podcast, you're like, yes, I want to step into the light. Get our oracle, Ecstatic Union with the Divine. Read one transmission every single day out loud. Get your bare feet on the ground in nature. Meditate for 11 minutes a day to some beautiful 432 hertz music. Really simple stuff. And then ask to be guided. And you'll be brought the mentor to assist you. You'll be brought the training. You'll be brought the books. You'll be brought whatever tools and resources you need to fill yourself with source light, to become source light in a physical form, and to live that and have that be your legacy of light throughout all timelines and dimensions. And so it is. It is so. Thank you so much for being part of Awakening the podcast. It's always a joy to be able to connect with you every single month. If you enjoyed this podcast, if it was a benefit to you, there's a couple things you can do. One, you can forward it to someone you know who is a light being or who is trying to reconnect with their light. Share it with them. This reach happens organically. The second thing you can do is, if you love more content like this, if you'd like more episodes a month of Awakening the podcast, you can go to sacred-spirituality.org, click on podcast, and make a donation or a gift in the amount your spirit guides you to. That supports me in being able to continue to bring this content and this work to you. Thank you again for listening. I've been your host, Dr. Christian Strang, and as always, this has been Awakening the podcast.